Welcome to Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show. Anything and everything you need to know when it comes to your real estate needs right here in the state of Arizona. Hello, Arizona. Welcome to this episode of Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show, the podcast that is dedicated to bringing you anything and everything related to your real estate needs right here in the Valley of the Sun. I'm Jason Bates, the host of this podcast and the lender who lives in and is a part of your community. Hey, if you want to reach out to the show, I definitely want to hear from you. So please do so by visiting my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. From there, you can connect with me on any social media platform. You can email the show. You can call me. You can do whatever you'd like there. Check out past videos. Oh, and hey, by the way, I do have some exciting news, so do stay tuned for that, and do keep watching the videos as I'm going to be putting out some pretty exciting videos, and that's kind of the news there.
Awesome!
I'm working on some videos here that should be pretty entertaining and pretty useful if you're looking for real estate. So anyway, stay tuned for that. So check out my YouTube channel. DJ Bates is my YouTube handle, and then also you can check out some Valley of the Sun Real Estate Show videos from there. And then what else? What other plug do I need here? I think that's about it. So thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to what I have to say. I really, really do appreciate that. Oh, hey, if you're listening to me on iTunes, please write a review, as it is the only way that I have to judge whether or not I'm doing a good job. So I appreciate you if you would write a review. Good, bad, or indifferent. I really do appreciate the feedback. So with that being said, I want to jump into today's topic. And this topic is something that kind of came to me here in the past couple days as I was meeting with some investors, probably on, I think it was Thursday evening. And one of the investors, we were going through some ideas here for real estate, and one of the investors came to me and said, hey, there's just nothing out there. Realtors just aren't very trustworthy.
What?
And when he said that to me, I think that there is, I don't know how to go about this. I think there's some ownership on us as consumers, and then there's a lot of ownership on a realtor as well during a real estate transaction. I hear a lot of horror stories that are out there with buyers and sellers who are dealing with a realtor who just doesn't care about them. And so I think in our industry, we get a little immune to what we do and who we represent and what we're trying to accomplish. And so that can come across to the consumer. So I want to go into, in today's topic being real estate traps to avoid in Phoenix, or real estate traps to avoid, period. Doesn't have to be Phoenix, can be Flagstaff, can be Tucson, can be anywhere in the state of Arizona. But as you know, this podcast is dedicated to information related to the Valley of the Sun, which is Phoenix, Arizona. But these real estate traps are universal across the country, across the state of Arizona. So these are things that you should be doing as a consumer to make your experience a little bit better. And hey, listen, if you're having a bad experience, please reach out to me, because I have some great realtors. The old adage used to be that, 20% of the realtors are doing 80% of the business. It's now about 10% of the realtors doing 90% of the business. So very, very critical as this real estate market is ever evolving, that you get yourself and align yourself with the proper team to represent you. So very, very important there. So if you need a good realtor, please reach out to me. I can definitely put you in contact with a great realtor.
Nice.
So with that being said, let's get right into some of the traps that I see here in real estate. Number one thing as a consumer that we probably don't do enough of, and I can't stress this enough, is plan ahead. I see too many times where somebody is looking for real estate, their lease is up in 15 days or 30 days, and they're just now starting to look at real estate. And not only just look at real estate, they kind of put the cart before the horse a little bit. As I've always said, the sexy part about real estate is the property.
Awkward.
The hard part is the credit and the loan, right? Nobody wants to talk about that. We all want to kind of ignore our credit to some extent. But that's the part you got to do first, and you got to do that at least 6 months ahead of you even thinking that you're going to start looking for property. The real estate transaction, or the real estate process, if you will, is about a 3 to 4 month process from the time that you start telling yourself that you want to move and you want to start looking at homes to the time you get your keys is generally around 3 to 4 months. So very important that you plan ahead for that. So you want to make sure your finances are in line. You want to make sure that you have your pay stubs in line, that you don't have any garnishments, that you don't have any, if you do have a past bankruptcy or something like that, you're going to want to research and make sure, call me, reach out to me, make sure that you're meeting the time frames that you need to have for that. And you can listen to past episodes that I've done on all you need to know for FHA loans if you want to know some of these time frames. But you want to do your research. You want to plan ahead. You want to put yourself in a position to where nobody can say the word no. Everybody hates hearing the word no. I hate hearing no. I used to, as a kid, my parents would tell me, no, you can't have that ice cream, or no, you can't have this after a certain amount of, in the evening because you're going to bed or something like that. You can't have this candy or whatever. I hated that. And so in real estate, same thing. Nobody wants to hear the word no. So you want to make sure that you position yourself, plan ahead, do all your due diligence up front so that you're prepared when you are ready, that you can go with absolute confidence into the transaction. Because remember, this is somewhat, it is an emotional decision that you're going to make. Here, you're going to find that right house. You're going to get into that house. You're going to walk around. You're going to visualize yourself in that house. And you're going to say, hey, let's get this thing done. And then once you get emotionally involved, and that's tip number 2, don't get emotionally involved in real estate, which is very, very difficult because it is an emotional decision. But once you get emotionally involved like that, then your blinders are on. Your blinders are on. I can't tell you how many times I've seen consumers just take what the lender gives them instead of really researching what's best for them. And shame on the lender. This is where I say it's a little bit of everybody's fault. Shame on the lender for not offering all the options that are available to you. Remember, you don't have just one option. Now, there is a rare occasion that you may just have only one financing option available to you. There is that occasion. If you've had a bankruptcy or something in your past and you don't have much money down, your debt ratio is tight, that sort of thing, it may narrow that options or the options down for you when looking at real estate. But if you did your due diligence up front and you planned ahead and you had your credit pulled and you looked at all the things that could be wrong with your credit and corrected them before you started looking at property and got emotionally involved in that property, then you would have options. And it's always good to have options when looking at real estate. Always, always, always. And I'll give you an example. I mean, if you have only one option of financing, let's say it's FHA, for example, and that's the only option you have because you didn't plan ahead, you didn't save your money for your down payment, you're tight on funds. And with that being said, let me just say this real quick. I understand life happens and we can't always plan for everything. I get that. But if you have the opportunity to plan, you're going to be much better served. Okay? You're going to do much better justice for yourself, if you will. But if you only have this FHA loan available, then you kind of forced to just take what's given to you. And that's not a good feeling either, right? Because then you start not trusting your loan officer or not trusting your realtor that they're really looking out for you when there's some ownership on you as a consumer to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row when looking at real estate. So try not to get too emotionally involved in the process because you don't want to just accept something. You don't want to accept the house that maybe backs against a busy street because you feel like it's the only one on the market. Or you don't want to accept the one that doesn't have the pool because you wanted a pool. You just don't want to accept it because that's not something that's very good either in your emotional transition, if you will, into home ownership. So now, with that being said, getting emotionally involved, you don't want to just buy the pick of the litter, right? You don't want to buy the best, grandest house in the neighborhood. You don't want to buy the biggest house in the neighborhood. Now, I'm going to back up for just a moment here. We've got to remember, a home is an investment. It's one of the biggest investments you're ever going to make financially in your life. And so you don't want to fall into the trap of, I got to have the biggest, I got to have the best, I got to have. You can't do that. if you're going to look at this as an investment, you got to look at it as, okay, if I'm going to buy this biggest home, how long am I going to stay in this home? Is this a home that I'm going to grow into, or is this a home I'm going to grow out of? Is this a home that is going to demand the highest price in the neighborhood? Because remember, if you're the highest price home in that neighborhood, you're the one who's the most exposed if the market were to turn south. Now, you have the most to gain as well if the market increases. There's a gamble there. So if you're not the gambling type, don't buy the biggest home on the block. Don't buy the home that has all the amenities in it. There's going to be some amenities in a home that just do not translate into value. They're translated into entertainment value. For example, a pool. A pool is going to cost you $30,000, maybe more, depending on what you put into the pool, $30,000 to put in. You don't get $30,000 worth of equity in the property when you go to sell it. Most of that is chalked up to entertainment. So a pool value adds about anywhere from, depending on the size of the pool and all that, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 in value to the home. That's it. Now in California, that might be a little different with them having their drought. They may not have, maybe having no pool may be adding value to their properties. But here in Arizona right now, a pool doesn't add that much value to the property. So you want to make sure that you're buying a house that's, consistent. Now, if you're buying some type of custom home, that's a little bit different. And the word custom is custom to that person who owns that home. So unless you fall into what they're looking for, custom may not be custom for you as it is custom for somebody else. So you want to kind of keep that in mind when looking into purchasing a home. You don't want to buy the pick of the litter. You don't want to buy the most beat up property in the subdivision either, because those are money pits or could be money pits. So you don't want to buy the highest and you don't want to buy the lowest. You want something right in the middle where you can see yourself growing and really have minimal. You don't have to put a lot of money into it, and you don't have as much exposure into the market conditions and what's happening. Now, with that being said, the next trap is that sticker price is not everything. Okay, so the list price of the home is not necessarily everything. Don't fixate yourself just on the price of the home. Look at the overall picture of the home. What is the home? What does it have? What does it have to offer? And not just for you and your family. That's important. Don't get me wrong. But if you were to sell that property, how marketable is that property if you were to sell it? And this is very, very hard because this is where emotions can kind of take over. I see a lot of people say, oh, this home is great. It's got this, it's got that, it's got this. And subjectively for me, I'm thinking in my head, well, yeah, I could care less about those things. They're important to you, but they're not necessarily important to me. And if I'm a buyer that may be looking to purchase your home in the future, you can say everything that you want about those things that are important to you, but if they don't matter to me, then I'm not going to be willing to pay for those amenities and upgrades and whatever it is that you have in that home, and that makes it special to you. So do look at the property in the totality, in the completeness of the property, and that sticker price isn't everything. I mean, I've seen homes, for $100,000 that are fantastic. And I'm just using $100,000, but I've seen homes that are $100,000 that are absolutely fantastic, and then ones for $150,000 in the same neighborhood that aren't worth $150,000. They're worth $120,000. And so price isn't everything. Don't think that because you're getting the cheapest home in the area that's everything. Sometimes there's a reason why it's the cheapest, right? And this is where it goes back to getting the good realtor on your side. And I've done some past episodes. Check out some past podcasts on that, on how to determine whether or not you've got a good realtor or not, and what to look for in a realtor, and the questions you should be asking your realtor, because you want to, if it's the cheapest price, you want to find out how long it's been on the market. Why is it the cheapest home in the market? This is all part of the questions you should be asking your realtor. And really, if your realtor is really good, they're going to tell you this up front. Hey, this home has been on the market for 6 months. It's priced at this. It's had 4 price drops in the past 30 days. Blah 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 blah. And they're going to tell you everything. If that home still fits what you're looking for in the grand scheme of things and not getting emotion involved in it, then absolutely it's worth consideration for your needs. But don't think that just because it's the price, and I see this too, this is the flip side of this. People say, okay, and this is especially true with renters. Renters say, okay, Jason, I'm paying $900 a month in rent right now. So I'd like for my house payment to be no more than $950 a month. And I say, okay, at $950 at today's rates on this term, this is what you're going to qualify for, price range. Then they get out there and they start looking at those homes in that price range and find that it doesn't have the things they want. Doesn't have a 3-car garage. Doesn't have, a 4th bedroom. It doesn't have a soft water loop. It doesn't have a pool. It doesn't have this. And then they go and look at homes that are $170,000 instead of $150,000. And then they find everything that they want. So price isn't everything when it comes to what you want. You've got to list out the things, and this is all part of that first thing, is planning. What is it that's important to us? What are the must-haves that we have to have in the property? Where's the neighborhood that we want? What's the schools that we want? The location, location. Everything in location when it comes to real estate, right? So find out that. Then find out those price ranges in there. Then do some research on, based on that price range at the current market rates, what would those payments be? Get yourself kind of familiarized with that. Is that something affordable for you? If it's not, then maybe there's some debts or something like that you can pay off so that it would be affordable for you. And then start looking at some of the other items that may be of interest to you. So it's not always about the price. You've got to be comfortable. Remember, this is an investment. It's a huge investment. It's very stressful. It's very emotional. It's all the things that you've ever heard. It is a big, big deal. This is not to be taken lightly. So that's why planning, is everything when it comes to real estate. So you got to plan. So now the other thing here that I want to kind of touch base on here, that I don't know if it's really a pitfall per se, but I always see, people say, hey, put as little money down as possible, preferably, easy for me to say, I always have a little stutter here and there, but preferably nothing, no money down. And that's good in certain situations, especially as we have appreciation in values. It's not a bad way to go. I mean, VA loans, awesome loan, right? No money down. But that's not everybody has a VA loan. Maybe the USDA loan. That's, no money down essentially. So maybe that would be the way to go. Or maybe the FHA loan with 0.5% down is the way to go. That's not always the case. Again, you got to look at the complete picture. And with an experienced loan officer, they're going to go over all those options with you. Sometimes putting no money down is an expensive way to go. You're going to generally have a higher interest rate on those type of loans. Now, of course, with a VA loan, you're not going to have a higher interest rate. It's going to be very competitive. But those individuals have served the country, and they've earned that right to have a no money down. So that's a little bit different. But for most people, and by the way, I'm a veteran too, so I get it. I did my first home on a VA loan. I was in the Marine Corps, so hoorah to that. But, VA is only for a small percentage of home buyers. Most people are going to go into the FHA loan. And if you didn't plan up front, then you may not have the money for the down, and then you may be forced to accept a 0.5% down, which is a higher interest rate than what you could get if you put your own money down at 3.5%, and then you end up spending money on a refinance later on down the road because you're upset that you got a high interest rate to begin with. And then I hear people say, well, that loan officer, he tried to, pull one over on me and gave me a higher interest rate. Well, the reality is you may not have had any options available to you. You may not have planned up ahead and for the future. And if you didn't, then this is the best that was offered, and this is the only thing that may be available to you. So, putting as little money down as possible is not always the best deal. So you want to get with a good, licensed loan officer who's going to go over all the options that are available to you and really put pen to paper and really narrow that down for you. And then you make the decision that's best for you and your family. This is a long-term investment. This is not a short-term investment. This is a long-term investment. So make sure you're making the right choice with all the options available to you and not just accepting the loan that's put forth in front of you or accepting the property that's put forth in front of you. Make sure that you just do all of your planning. That's my best advice that I can give to you to avoid some of the pitfalls that you will face when searching for real estate in and around Phoenix, Arizona, Valley of the Sun. So, with that being said, those are my tips for you home buyers out there to avoid, or traps to avoid out there. So definitely take the time, plan out as best you can. I know we can't always plan for things. Life happens, but in any event that you can plan for something, please plan. Please plan. And then talk to a licensed real estate professional and a licensed loan officer, preferably me. Call me. I'd love to talk to you about your options and go over everything that's available to you. So reach out to me by going to my website at www.valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com, and you can reach out to me, email me, call me, social media, connect with me. However, check out some videos, whatever you need to do. It's all right there at valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com, and it's the valleyofthesunrealestateshow.com. So until next time, happy house hunting, and I hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Jason Bates, NMLS 220798, mortgage banking license 0119128, equal housing lender, sound effects provided by soundwave.com.